Time for another fragrance review to keep my channel active. I'm going to talk about fragrances randomly. I know I need to vlog and talk about all the health stuff that is going on, but I'll try to do that before the end of the year. But also, I know I've been fiddling with my camera, so I don't know if this lighting looks weird or go back to this, because I know some people say the quality sucks, but I mean, I don't know how to fix this camera, so what am I going to do? How about this? I'm just going to do this color. If you guys hate this color after this, you can tell me. I'm just going to do it for at least one video. You tell me. Whatever. Fuck it, right? I do these videos before I go to bed anyway, so it's nighttime anyway. I'm getting ready for bed. I also tried to fix the microphone. I'm sure it didn't work, but let me know. So instead of just doing a regular fragrance review, which I guess if you guys ever have something, if I've smelled it, I could do it if you give me a suggestion. But I'm just going to do a house spotlight for a video to do, I guess, and I'm gonna do By Kilian. And why am I gonna do By Kilian? Because I think that By Kilian is actually kind of like, in my opinion, kind of like something like Creed. And by that I mean, you know how Creed, they say Creed for, Creed's niche, right? It's a lot of money, but it's generally liked. It's not too out there for the regular public, right? And I think By Kilian is actually nice in that way too, because again, way too expensive for what it is. I don't care about the coffins. I don't care about all this presentation, all this money that wise. But in terms of wearability, I think a lot of By Kilian stuff is pretty nice. You know what I mean? So I hope you get where I'm going with this. And I'll call her back. Time out. We're doing a fragrance review, so you can call back later. Okay. Oh my God, dude. Okay, we're in production, right? Hodgkins. Anyway, so, anyway, so I'm gonna do my top 10 favorite from By Kilian, in no specific order. And another cool thing that I think about By Kilian has is a lot of them that I've talked about before is they have kind of like that alcohol tinge to them. So it makes it kind of fun too, because it's like, man, if you're spending this much money, dude, I hope you get at least a little bit of fun out of it, right? So a lot of them have like an alcohol tinge to it, and it makes it a little bit more fun for the wearer and for the experience, and for you to try to trick yourself that they're worth that kind of money, right? So anyway, top 10 from By Kilian. I'll do a couple honorable mentions. One will be Vodka on the Rocks, for exactly the reasons I've said. It's kind of like, say, a Creed. A lot of Creeds are probably like a dumb guy or a rich man's or a rich girl's dumb reach, right? Vodka on the Rocks, I think it's a rich person's dumb reach. Very pleasant, very... God, it's probably, probably pretty simple for a lot of people, right? The gin and tonic and strong oak moss kind of remind me of something like a Frappan's Luministe. Some people think it smells like Abercrombie Fitch and Fierce. I can also see a little bit of that. And again, it's probably not too interesting or for like a complexity wise, but maybe it's just that certain mix of those notes that you want that just pushes you over the edge, that makes you want it. And that's why I think Vodka on the Rocks is good. Again, if I was rich, it'd be a dumb reach for me, because again, a rich guy's dumb reach, I think it does that vibe really well. Another honorable mention, I'm actually not too horny about it, but I guess I'll mention it because I know a lot of people like it. Apple Brandy. Basically starts off really zesty, you know what I mean, and crisp, and then it just kind of becomes kind of like an apple cider, kind of like a buttery caramel apple kind of smell. It's kind of yummy, but for me personally, the idea of apple cider and apples and like a caramel apple, people eat these apple things. Is it a caramel apple that people eat? That doesn't do anything for me, so I don't care about that really, but it's well done, I guess, so I can see why people like it, so, but not exactly my thing, so just an honorable mention for me. Anyway, let's get to the things I actually wrote down, right? One of the very first I'm going to mention, Straight to Heaven, and I'll put Straight to Heaven Extreme in here. Is it Straight to Heaven Extreme or Straight to Heaven Intense? Hopefully you know what I'm talking about. Straight to Heaven is one of the only fragrances that I've ever smelled in all my years in fragrances that I've actually done like a bit of a 180 on, and I think I've told this story before. When I first smelled Straight to Heaven, I was like, wow, there's no way I could wear this around a girl. The alcohol is just too strong. It's too out there. I don't think I could wear this, right? But as the years have gone by, I'm like, you know what? I think I could wear this, dude. And yeah, I think when I visualize it, I actually think it smells pretty sexy too. You know, there's that idea that some people think that Back to Black is the most sexy by Killian fragrance, which I totally disagree with. But Straight to Heaven is a very sexy, potentially sexy fragrance, I think. I do think it smells older and mature, so it is leaning on being a vibe. You know, I don't think it's fun. I don't think it's younger fun smelling. Does that make sense? Um, I keep getting called, sorry. Okay. I do think it smells, you know, older and mature, and it's not exactly young and fun. But you know what it does? I think it kind of smells like when I visualize it, and I've said this in a review before. I think maybe visually speaking, it doesn't make sense, but I imagine like a well-dressed, suave kind of dude, but in a forest getting drunk with a suit. Visually, it doesn't make any sense, but scent-wise, it makes sense to me. You know what I mean? Because it's very woody. You know what I mean? He's like drinking, and he's holds his liquor very well, or his alcohol very well. Maybe his friend is like, you know, I would compare VIP 212 Men is like the drunk 1 million. He's not holding his liquor as well. Maybe CH Man Privé is more of like the kind of sexy bad boy leather jacket kind of dude. You know what I mean? He's not passed out like the 212 VIP men. But Straight to Heaven is the, you know, sophisticated, I don't have a suit on, but sophisticated suave dude who's been drinking and works in the forest for some reason. You know what I mean? I don't think it smells, I guess it's, you know, unisex, but I think it's pretty manly smelling. I don't think it's very feminine smelling. Like I said, there was a time I thought there was no way that I could wear this around girls, but it has been a deceptive compliment getter for me. I've gotten compliments on it. Some people, again, not totally their thing because it does smell older, but I think if it's your vibe and you can pull it off, it works pretty well. And it's something that personally for me, I would wear in situations where maybe I'd wear Aventus instead. Or other people might wear Aventus because I think Aventus smells kind of old. If I want to smell older, Straight to Heaven is one I might wear. Again, Straight to Heaven Extreme or Intense is like more vanilla and everything, and I don't have a lot of experience with that one because I just don't have enough of it to tell you what girls think of it. But it would be interesting if maybe it just goes over the edge just a little bit. That instead of becoming a deceptive compliment getter, it just becomes a all-around compliment getter because of the more vanilla. But I couldn't honestly tell you because I haven't worn it enough around real girls. Next one that I'm gonna do, what do I have? Oh, single malt. Single malt's one I like. Basically, I would describe single malt as you got this big oak tree, right? For some reason, you own a chainsaw, and you're chainsawing down this tree, and the tree is bleeding out this sticky, syrupy plum, boozy plum, and eventually vanilla comes in, and it's like plum vanilla swirl sap just coming out of this oak tree, right? I know some people have said that it's they have kind of used the pure malt uh, idea of whiskey in an oak barrel, malt whiskey in an oak barrel. Well, if that's that, well then you were taking a chainsaw to the oak barrel to get it out. And I say that because this is a fragrance that I think if you are a little iffy on dry fragrances and you don't like pencil shaving stuff, which I don't, this is kind of borderline too dry and too much sawdust and pencil shavings for the first few hours. Like, it's pretty strong. You know, a lot of pencil shaving, a lot of sawdust at first. So if you really don't like that, I would be a little iffy because it's almost a step too much for me at the beginning for the first few hours. But after that, the sawdust does kind of go down, that cedar, you know what I mean? And again, it's just boozy plum coming from this saw down chainsaw oak tree, whatever, mixed with vanilla. Very nice, very delicious and snuggly once it dries down a little bit. So that's a good one. Back to Black, another famous one that I like. I do think I bought the hype train on it a little bit. I'm a little disappointed I bought it, but I would describe Back to Black, what I've said before, as big, rich, there's some kind of animalistic honey pond, really thick, rich honey, right? And all the notes in the fragrance, which there's a lot, are at the bottom of this honey pond. You dive into the honey pond and you're trying to pick out all these notes, and some of them are just so drenched in honey, they're almost indistinguishable. So you're out of this honey pool pond, and you're trying to wipe off all the honey and all the notes that you've picked out with baby wipes. And I say baby wipes because if you want me to be specific, a lot of people just think it smells like baby powder. And I can honestly tell you, I don't think it's an amazing compliment getter either, because I do have a lot of girls that just tell me, it just smells like baby powder, dude. Well, if you want me to be specific again, I think it's actually a baby wipe, not baby powder. But so, you know, you trying to use a baby wipe to wipe off all these notes, you know. Maybe tobacco, cherry comes out a little bit more, whatever. But that's kind of the vibe of it. And I would say this is a fragrance that has a bit of a, if I could call this an identity crisis. And I say that because you would think of it as a cold winter fragrance because of the notes. And I agree, but I would say the problem is, though, that in summer, hot weather really brings out the kind of chewiness of this. Like, you know, you got that cherry and almond, and that's something in fragrances that, again, this is a much more chewy and yummy kind of fragrance in summer, I guess. So kind of an identity crisis, if you get what I'm saying. But whatever. Another fragrance I've talked about that I like is, again, I'm trying to look at my notes here, right, dude? Intoxicated. Intoxicated. Some people think it smells like Amen. I don't really think so too much. If it had to be any Amen, I would call it pure coffee, and it is so much better than pure coffee. I think it's kind of an insult to it. Basically, it does have, I don't know if it's the alcohol note in it, you know, maybe it is because, say, alcohol can have like a cleaning agent kind of smell, right? But this one does start off with kind of a tinge to it. Again, maybe it's the alcohol note. The tinge to this fragrance does smell a bit like a urinal cake, but even with that negative association, I don't think it smells bad. But yeah, thick, hot, not like mocha, but I'm gonna say coffee and chocolate, right? So hot coffee and hot chocolate, nutmeg, and it's just the cinnamon gives it kind of like a thick chocolatey steam that also from this line Noir Aphrodisiac has. Yeah, this one is really nice. Again, this the freshness in this, again, is kind of the alcohol tinge is a bit of a urinal cake with this really hot chocolate, some, I don't know, some kind of nutmeg, thick coffee, some chocolatey steam, a little spicy, herbal. Just one of the best coffees since I think I've smelled in my journey. That actually smell like coffee, not like a fragrance coffee, if you know what I'm saying. The others would be probably Barista's Legendary and Daniel Barros's Tonkaccino, if you've smelled that. Those are probably my 3 favorite coffee fragrances that actually smell like coffee. What else do we have? Oh, Love. Love is a feminine fragrance, but I wear it sometimes. I do get compliments on this. You would think it's too novelty, too girly, but no, I've definitely gotten compliments on this. Again, this is kind of like a fresh, kind of sticky, syrupy marshmallow, but I really do get a lot of the neroli in this, that orange blossom kind of like freshness in it. And I would say, though, for the marshmallow in this, again, to be specific, I guess, because if you like sweet scents, the marshmallow in this is not like a real marshmallow. It is a fake kind of pastel marshmallow, whatever they call that. You know those marshmallows that are pastel colors, like pastel orange, pink, kind of like green, blue, not like real marshmallows. That's the kind of marshmallow in this. And, you know, I wouldn't be too worried about like the civet note in this, if there is, even if there is. I'm not a note monster, but if you look at the notes on Fragrantica, the only thing I would say for that is it probably just gives the fragrance a little bit of warmth, right? So you don't need to worry about that. But yeah, kind of like one of those pastel marshmallows, but surprisingly fresh, but still kind of sticky, warm, sweet, right? And girly and probably kind of novelty, but I've gotten compliments on it, dude. What do you want me to tell you? Another one, Smoke for the Soul. In terms of weed smells, marijuana, bud, whatever you want to call it. I know some people, I think Black Afghano is the cliche fragrance that people talk about when they talk about fragrances that smell like weed. Admittedly, I'm not the biggest stoner, but I used to be a pretty big stoner when I was a kid. I don't think Black Afghano doesn't really make me think of getting stoned, but this is definitely one that makes me think of being a stoner. It's very sticky. It's like some sticky bud, And it's got a little bit of that boozy nuance, that, you know, alcohol nuance, that tinge, you know, a tinge to the fragrance. Like maybe there's like some kind of alcoholic drink giving you a little bit of a tinge, this boozy grapefruit, whatever, on a little bit of like, what is the wood note exactly in it? I have to wear it to smell it again exactly. There's like, fuck, whatever. You know, and like this sticky piece of bud next to it, grapefruit. Is there a grapefruit kind of alcohol? I don't know. Sticky bud next to it. And this does have a strong, though, eucalyptus, kind of like a eucalyptus vapor rub kind of smell. I know what I'm saying. It smells kind of novelty, but I think it could fit your vibe. Again, it's something, if I was rich, I might own, dude. I mean, it's not that bad. I think it's pretty good. It makes me think of weed, but it doesn't make me think of it in a bad way. Another one, what else do we got here? We have Light My Fire. Light My Fire is another fragrance that kind of grew on me throughout the years. I wish I had more of it. I should probably try to steal a sample. That's what you got to do, right? No one's sending me all these free samples of all this stuff all the time, right? Man, some people even get free bottles, right? Send me some free bottles, right? I would love to get a ton of free bottles. Anyway, Light My Fire, another fragrance that's grown on throughout the years. It's one of the few fragrances that I can think of in my fragrance journey that has a strong, noticeable cumin, caraway note, whatever you want to call it, that still smells good, actually. I think I actually like this one when you're thinking about honey and tobacco. I actually like this one more than Back to Black. I think it's grown on me more. And this is another one, too. I saw a Fragrantica review that made it more fun for me. Someone said they kind of thought it smelled like a Dr. Pepper, and dude, I totally got it when I smelled it. And when I had that in mind, someone kind of smells like a Dr. Pepper. I can totally smell the fizzy kind of Dr. Pepper smell, dude. And man, what would I say it smells like? So it's kind of like this, the cumin caraway stink, whatever. The cumin caraway stank, sweaty stank, whatever, is a little bit strong in the beginning, but that part does dissipate pretty quickly. So that at least aspect you don't have to worry about too much. But it kind of smells like someone's rolling a tobacco, and maybe there's some like little golden like honey sparkle embers, sticky little flame of like, yeah, the embers from it are kind of like honey sparkled embers, and it's giving off this weird kind of fizzy Dr. Pepper aroma, and it's vanilla, and it's actually really kind of fucking yummy, dude. Like, it's, again, it's a fragrance that's grown on me, actually, dude. I haven't worn it a lot to tell you what girls think, because I just don't have enough. I'm not gonna lie to you and tell you, oh, hey, you know, I had a girl smell it a few times, a few girls smell it, so that I can tell you what it is. You know, I'm not gonna go off that, right? But you know, I think it smells pretty good, dude. Like, if I had more, I would definitely test it out more. So Light My Fire is a good one. What's oh, and then I have man, have I done them? Oh, Amber Oud. Again, not very oudy. I would almost compare it to a Amber Jolly Rancher in terms when I visualize it, crystallized amber. Maybe you have something like sweet firewood smell, right? So maybe there's some sweet firewood, right? And maybe it's kind of a orangish reddish color, like it's kind of crystallizing. God, what would you say? Like maybe some sweet firewood, right? Maybe to light the fire, you poured this kind of whatever kind of alcohol note tinge to the fragrance that By Kilian uses. And a lot of these fragrances, right? Pours it on the sweet firewood, right? Well, I guess, you know, if there is oud in it, right? Who knows? But, and it catches on fire, and it's creating just a little bit of a golden, orange, reddish, ambery crusted crystal on this wood, right? And that's why I think of like an amber, almost Jolly Rancher, bit of that alcoholic tinge, you know what I mean? And like I said in another video recently, it's much more, the alcohol tinge comes out in it much more at night. Dude, can you tell? Like, dude, I'm about to go to bed, actually, dude. More in the winter, the tinge comes out, right? So I think it's a pretty fun one. Other one's Black Phantom. I think these are the last two I have. Black Phantom is, again, the boozy tinge in this, the boozy aspect of this one is almost, I would think that they made a whipped cream out of some kind of boozy thing, because it plays tricks with my nose. Like sometimes I get the boozy tinge, And sometimes I think it's like the tinge of a cold whipped cream. So maybe a boozy whipped cream over a mostly chocolate drink with just enough coffee in it for you to call it a Starbucks drink, for you to be able to sell it at Starbucks. There's just enough coffee, right? But it's more chocolate, right? So you have this sort of chocolatey, just a little bit of coffee drink. A boozy whipped cream is over it, and you're pouring some kind of like caramel on it. And it's got like a little bit of a creme brulee, maybe crusting on it, that kind of thing. Pretty nice, right? It has the same kind of thickness in terms of scent density. That kind of sounds complicated, right? But I'm an idiot, so I'm not trying to say it like I'm smart. It's got that same kind of thickness as something like Armani's Privé. Is it Armani Privé's Amber Accentrio? Do you know what I'm talking about? Hopefully you do. And then lastly, Noir Aphrodisiac. Have I done 10? I hope that was my 10, dude. Noir Aphrodisiac is a, I guess it's yuzu. Is yuzu the note in it, right? It's kind of like a, I know some people kind of think it's like an orange candied cordial. I don't know if it's exactly that, but maybe it's in the same kind of family. So you have this yuzu, whatever, right? And you're peeling the yuzu, and for some, this like juiciness, right? And you're peeling it, and for some reason it's letting off this thick chocolatey steam, right? With just a little bit of this citrus, and it's pretty good. It's got the same kind of chocolatey steam that Intoxicated has. And also, actually, Ultra Le Male, if you can get to that aspect of the fragrance, because Ultra Le Male lasts very long. When you get to Ultra Le Male, like maybe 10 at, that's probably too long, maybe six hours or something after the Ultra Le Male has been on. It has a bit of a chocolate steam. I think that's the cinnamon gives it that, right? And this Intoxicated Noir Aphrodisiac has a bit of a chocolatey steam to it. Anyway, I think Noir Aphrodisiac is a good one too. So those are my 10 favorite from By Kilian. Again, I think it's a good line. I think it's in terms of niche, they're generally pretty wearable and not totally out there, right? Because it's more out there, you could say, than say something like, you know, Creed, because whatever, it's fucking Creed, right? But I know some people are like, in terms of some people think that Tom Ford is like not even niche because it's so accessible. I would disagree, because Tom Ford has a lot of pretty stuff I would not wear if I was meeting a girl for the first time, or that I even like, period, right? So yeah, I think that's a good thing about By Kilian. Keeping my channel active. I should do a vlog, a real vlog soon, right? Talk about health stuff, because I do got a lot of stuff going on. And I like social commentary, right? Complain about my life that no one actually cares to listen to. Anyway, much longer than I wanted. Late at night, I'm getting a lot of calls, and hopefully it's stopped now. I don't know if she's going to want to kill me, right? Oh, the end.